Hi everybody, how are you? Look at that, Tom Braidwood. Here's Harwood. Welcome everybody. This is Unusual Suspects, not filmed in 1989. Tom was going, did we film that in 89? I don't think so. It's like, I don't remember what year we filmed that.
It was a backdoor pilot, wasn't it? For some
It
other
was a
show?
backdoor pilot. Yeah, but this was a time when I think David was filming his.
They were they're finishing up the movie.
That movie where he's
David
in the
and
red
Jillian
swim
were
trunks.
available. Yeah.
Whatever the show that was, that movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie. And then Jillian was in England, and she was a week late.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We got to start production." And what do we do? And they said, "Hey, let's get those three fellers."
Yeah, yeah.
And let's
you
get them
know
together.
what we need? We need a Tom Braidwood TV show. That's what they said.
Let's get the sexiest man in science fiction
Exactly.
up on the fucking screen, right?
It's alive.
No, I'm not kidding. A UK sci-fi magazine, they had a poll, the sexiest men in sci-fi, and Braidwood here came in first, I think. Yeah?
It was a really short-lived magazine.
Exactly. Now out of print, sadly. But yeah, so that's how this thing happened. What you got to realize that in between shots, we had taken over David's trailer. Tom brought a video game console.
Was that David's trailer? Because we trashed that place.
We trashed that thing pretty bad. So in between shots, we are playing Nintendo 64, I think, and he brought that, and so...
Watching Jackie Chan movies in the original Cantonese.
Oh yeah, the John Woo too. You brought a John Woo movie in? So we were watching movies, playing video games in between the takes of this entire episode. So really fun, so we'll take questions right after. Right now, why don't we hit play and watch The Unusual Suspects? We're all 12 years old in that thing. What is that? That is ridiculously young looking.
Oh, man.
What happened to me?
It's like sad and embarrassing now.
No, you were excellent. You were
I was just looking at how thin and
I know.
hair is all brown and
I know, right?
yeah.
But I forgot how many kissing scenes you had with Sidney Cook. What?
I've been shot. I got to kiss the girl. I've done pretty good for.
I know.
That's what any actor is wants is to shoot somebody, get shot, kiss the girl. Those three things.
All in one episode. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Once you've done that, you might as well retire. That's
You
all
might
there is
as
to it.
well. Absolutely. And who AD'd? Tom, you weren't. Sometimes you AD'd the episode you were in, but I don't.
No, I didn't AD that one.
No, you didn't. Who was that AD on
Was
that
it
one?
Val?
Is it Val doing that one?
Probably Val, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, Kim Manners directing.
Yeah.
And I would guess. Doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And that's where he quit smoking too, so he had that toothpick. He was always chewing on that toothpick, thinking like, it should have been smoking, but he was eating that toothpick.
That's why he was yelling all the time.
Totally
was it?
yelling all the time.
Yeah, okay.
So good. So good. So, yeah, we'll take questions. There's a microphone right there if you have any questions about the show. And if you don't have questions, we'll just chat amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I should tell you, here's an announcement. I have a new live streaming sci-fi comedy show. Yes. Called Gravity Hole. Yes, Gravity Hole. It's about two guys stuck in a spaceship that accidentally set off a self-destruct sequence in 20 minutes, and we blow up every episode. So it's a 20-minute show. We die every episode. It's completely idiotic, and it's the stupidest sci-fi comedy you can imagine, and it's all done in green screen. So I do it in my room in Detroit, and then my friend does it in his room in Los Angeles, but it all looks like we're in the same set. It's bizarre how cheap the technology is now to do that. So take out your phone, go to gravityhole.com, and you hit subscribe. Just put your name and your email in, and we will show you. You'll be directly led to where it's streaming live. We go live next week. We got 10 in the can. I get up at 3 a.m. because that's the only time it's dark enough for my green screen to work in Detroit. Any other time. The sun comes up at 5 and it goes down at 10 in Michigan. I didn't realize this when I moved there. That I did.
When you told me 3 a.m., I thought that was just a random choice of yours.
No, well, this is the only time that both of us could like find free time. So it's midnight in LA, 3 a.m. my time. So I get up at 3 a.m., do a bunch of shows, and then my little puppy Doberman wakes up, and then I have to take it for a walk, and that's adorable. Yeah. Oh yeah, my Doberman has its own Instagram page. So yeah, so go to Lilu, Dobie Lilu, and you'll see pictures of my little Doberman growing up and eating my hand. That's adorable. She's a blue Doberman. Thank you for asking. Yes. You have a question.
Yeah.
I actually have
You have 2 questions. If we could get that mic turned up to hear those 2 questions, that would be awesome. What's your first question?
So first is, does Frohike and Byers also play D&D?
Do Frohike and Byers also play D&D?
No. I mean, I assume Byers got into it later because they're in the basement with nothing to do most of the time. So,
We're putting out a newspaper. We're finding the truth.
It seems like to me like we were probably watching all the science fiction that was on. You know, we were talking about, you made that joke about nitpicking the scientific inaccuracies of Earth 2, which is one thing I remember.
Remember that?
Probably a lot of what we were doing in our spare time is, what's on? Let's see this, you know.
Yes, there was a terrible sci-fi series in the 90s called Earth 2. If anybody remembers that. No. Don't even bother looking for it. Yeah, 5 of us. Woo! I love Earth 2. And it was like this lame-o, scientifically inaccurate show about finding another Earth.
Yeah.
And so we made jokes about that on the X-Files.
So I assume that's the kind of the tenor of the things the gunmen did when they weren't writing a newspaper.
Right. And what's your second question?
Do any of you actually play D&D in real life?
Do any of us actually play D&D?
No, not me. No.
Have you ever?
No.
Yeah, I do. Nerd. But no, I don't have, but every time I do, I have to regenerate a new character, and every time my character, like, I am the worst at throwing the dice, and I always get 2 or lower, and so I think my last character was an elf who could sing. That was it. It was like, it was pathetic on every mission.
I played D&D once, and I was a thief, and I decided to test my thieving skills on a ship where no one could get off. And I was like, I'll just steal some stuff to see what happens. And the dungeon master said to me, you know you're on a ship. If they find it's missing, they know it's you. You're the only thief there. And I'm thinking, I don't get this game.
So yes, that's about our D&D experience, sadly.
I play sorry, and that's like and that's it.
That's it.
The D&D version, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. So the Lone Gunmen spin-off obviously ended a little bit prematurely.
Prematurely, yes.
Yeah.
The Lone Gunmen the Lone Gunmen spin-off ended. Well, we filmed 13 episodes, and then they didn't film anymore. So, yeah.
Anyway.
So I was curious if there were plans or ideas for future seasons, future episodes, and if so, what were those ideas?
No, there was.
Didn't we ask Vince about, hey, have you worked out how to get us out of that? The final episode is us in a
16-story underground, super
with blue on our
chamber.
face. They said, have you worked out how to get us out of there? And he went, nah.
No, but Tom was scheduled to direct a couple in the next season.
If there was a next season.
If there was a next season, he was going to direct. And because I did Pamela Anderson's VIP, I was on 2 episodes. I asked her, would she be interested in playing herself in our Lone Gunmen spinoff? She said yes. So we would have had Pamela Anderson coming into the Lone Gunmen office. I told that to the production. They were excited. Oh my God, they get actually Pamela Anderson.
And then they got canceled.
That's the reason we got canceled.
Are you kidding me?
So that's as far as we got on plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Thanks.
Good. I was just wondering whose free cable device actually worked and was better.
Yeah, hey, that is a good question, actually. I think we never actually tested any of them for real.
They must have both like been equally bad. I'm pretty sure. Like fires somewhere.
But you know, I lived in Australia for 4 years, and there was a lot of free cable, quote unquote.
Hey, you can't be free cable.
I know. No, was everybody VPN'd in Australia back to America? Like we're bootlegging everything. Australia like has a ton of like illegal stuff going on. Because I don't know, an island of criminals.
Australia.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tradition.
Why? The live streaming people. I love Australia. I should point that out. This is live streaming. I could not love Australia more. Living there for 4 years. You're not all criminals.
If they're Australians, they're proud of it. You're damn right we steal.
No, because I am screwed. I am so screwed. Anyway, the point is, we never actually tested that out. Who's got the? And I have in no time ever got free cable. That's all I'm saying. In any of my existence, thank you for live streaming. I don't have free cable.
I just have one more question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite episode? Just one. I mean, for each of you guys.
Favorite episode?
This one, I mean, that features us.
Absolutely, this one.
That features us is this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was really fun. I mean, this was so fun to do. It was the first time that it really focused on the gunmen. It was all of us hanging out in the trailer playing video games, like I said.
The first episode of the year, so the crew was fresh and excited to be there.
Right. So
and they weren't putting up with David and Jillian. You know.
Also, live stream, boom, right there.
Oh, like I'm going to work with him again.
Oh my God.
So, you know, they were just like, hey, this is awesome. You're just guys, you know.
Yeah, right.
It's like, and next week he'll go back to, you know, 1 day a week. Or
1 day a
something
week,
like that.
yeah. It was really fun, actually. And, yeah, we got a sense of, this was the episode they showed this and a couple others to actually launch the Lone Gunmen spinoff. They just said, oh, hey, look, here's an episode of them. Here's a couple other episodes where it was just gunman specific. We can make a Lone Gunmen spinoff. And this was technically the pilot for the Lone Gunmen spinoff. So it was really fun to do.
Awesome.
The hardest thing about it was we always had to figure out a different way to do a 3-shot.
Yeah. It's not like it's a catalog. I mean, it's just a catalog of 3 guys in position somewhere.
It always looked like the Three Stooges. Like, you know, I remember every time my shot, it's like, Dean, put your head at a 90-degree angle under Tom's armpit. It's just like, okay, now roll it.
Or get an apple box for Tom.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was always like staging our 3 heads so that they're always in the same shot.
But didn't Kim at some point, he was like, oh, another 3-shot. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just sick of them. So.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You guys are great.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. This is so fun. I have a question. In Dreamland, when Michael McKean came in, that's one of my favorite scenes because it's you guys and it's Michael McKean who's freaking hilarious.
Right.
Did you guys have fun on the set doing that, or was it just straight up work that day?
No, with Michael McKean, it was really fun.
He's fun.
He's way too much fun to work with.
Yeah.
He was kind of scary for me, actually, because I remember he basically blocked that whole scene himself.
What?
I remember him like doing his lines, and in the middle he'd go like, nope, and he walks back to one again and then started redoing it and basically did his whole bit, and I would just, maybe you guys weren't paying attention.
That's my work process. I don't know what's going on.
But I remember I'm just standing there frozen going like, it's Michael McKean. Look at him. Look what he's working. Look what he's doing. Why don't I do this sort of stuff? What's wrong with me?
No.
So, he was good.
He was good. And I knew him from stand-up comedy, and he was good friends with a good friend of mine, Rick Overton. And so we had lots to talk about other than, Spinal Tap, of course, huge fan. And he remembered specifically in Canada, on Canada Day, July 1st, Spinal Tap was flown from Halifax to Toronto to Vancouver, all in the same day, doing 3 concerts in 3 different time zones on Canada Day. It was like, and he said that was our favorite Spinal Tap show. And I said, when you got to Vancouver, there were these rocking women that came out, and there was one that was dry humping you and touching your tongue while you're playing the bass. He goes, oh yeah, I totally remember. I go, that's my best friend. She's an improviser comedian with me named Ellie Harvey, and she is hilarious. And she told us that story that night when she she performed with us on stage, going, "Oh my God, I was touching Michael McKean's tongue, and he was dry humping, and it was hilarious." And he was like, "Oh my God." So yeah, so Michael McKean. Is that really an obscure story? That is so.
I'm not sure how to take that story, honestly. No, I'm really not sure.
It's comedic. The other people didn't realize that the Spinal Tap was a comedic band. Like, a lot of people thought Spinal Tap was just a serious heavy metal band, not realizing that they'd never seen the movie, and not knowing Michael, these are all actors doing, so everybody was like, oh, there's this heavy metal band playing in Vancouver. And Ellie was the only one that realized that they had this comedic background, so she was goofing it up with them really well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that story went nowhere, actually. I just realized that was a long road to nowhere. So,
Thank you, John.
thank you so much. Hi, how are you?
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
I have to second all the comments about being very sad about the show, the Lone Gunmen show over.
Yeah.
So I really love it, and I think it was great.
Thank you.
Never understood why they did that, but so that first episode of the Lone Gunmen show was about basically what happened in 9/11. It was basically, and it happened before it. So my question is, were you scared, shocked, angry, sad about, it happened, what we had in the show, it happened in real life. So.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that it happened till John Scheiman called me. Like 3 in the afternoon, going, "Are you watching this?" You go, "Yeah." So, "Oh my God, it's our show." Yeah, hey, that's weird. And that's about as far as I took it, because what was weird on that day is my pipes burst in my sink. So as much as a disaster was going on, I had a bigger disaster in my house going, and I went to Home Depot, and it was the nicest, everybody, all the employees, everybody was in such shock that everybody was being so nice and kind to each other in a Home Depot. Normally they're just rude and get out, and this was like a nice day that I had to go fix my plumbing. So that's a very personal story of 9/11.
Tom and I were in a hotel. We'd been working on the X-Files, and we were going to fly out back home to Vancouver September 11th. And I got woke up by a phone call, and it's like, what is it? "Oh, this is your driver. I'm calling to tell you, I'm not taking you to the airport today." Why aren't you taking me to the airport? The planes are grounded." "Why are the planes grounded?" Someone flew a plane into the World Trade Center." And I'm like, in my head, didn't say it out loud, "Oh, that's our show. You're not funny." And then it was like, no, hang on. I know these drivers. They have no idea who they're picking up and dropping off.
Right.
What the hell? And at that point, I put up the phone and turned on the TV, and then...
And then he phoned me, and he woke me up and said, "You better turn on your TV and see what's going on." And so we got stuck in LA. It was really weird because everything was grounded. You go out in your balcony in the hotel, and nobody was driving in their car. It was just silence. You were in the middle of Hollywood, and it was just dead silent. It was really, really strange. And
a lot of you folks must remember.
Everybody has their experience. We were there about 3 days. They kept trying to get us out. They couldn't.
They kept saying, "Just wait. They'll put the planes back in tomorrow. They'll start flying again tomorrow."
No, it's a whole week.
Day after day.
And finally, to be honest, we got concerned that they were going to close down the border between the U.S. and Canada.
And arrest any aliens that were inside.
We called Fox and said, "Just get us a car. Get us a car that we can drive across the border." Yeah. And that's what we did. We got in a car and we drove home instead of going on a plane, because we were a little concerned that everything might get shut down.
And we got paranoid. I mean, considering that we were in a show which anticipated the event.
Yeah, right.
We had a reason to get paranoid.
But it was really strange, I think, both for the director and the writer. It was the strangest feeling for them that this thing...
It was more stressful for them, I think, in a way, wasn't it? Yeah.
So
yeah, that's your answer. Thank you. Hi.
Very good question. Hi, guys. Obviously, so many people are huge fans of the Lone Gunmen.
Obviously. Yeah, kidding.
I should think so.
You know, the intellects, the true truth seekers, the hackers. Specifically related to this episode, my question is about some of the technology and things you guys have changed in your lifetime.
Right.
You know, from Dig Dug, no internet, you know, etc. What's some of the technology you guys think, advanced tech that'll be here in the future before we know it? You know, the last season's episode with you being, you know, downloaded into a computer, you know, that.
Oh yeah, right. That your consciousness can be uploaded to an iCloud, and that it can hold until they make a digital avatar or an actual physical avatar that you can actually back download your consciousness theoretically into a robot or fucking Roomba. Hey, I'm cleaning again. I don't know why. Oh my God! Why did I upload?
Kill me! Kill me!
Please! Oh, not this living room again! No! Jesus! Somebody kill me! It's true. Yeah, you know, funny enough, Frank Spotnitz and I were just having this conversation last night, having not seen him, and I'm sort of up on tech or what's coming and things like that. I'm very freaked out by the toilet that's connected to the internet. This is coming. This is not really talked about, but just like safe driving insurance, you know, if you're not in accidents, your price goes down. They're making toilets at the behest of the health insurance company that can analyze everything that goes through the toilet, so that if you are a teetotaler eating organic food, your insurance rates go down on your health food. And if you're boozing it and eating at Burger King, your health insurance goes up. And how do they know that? They're analyzing everything that goes through the toilet. So get your healthy pregnant sister to poo in your toilet. Just lower your rates.
Well, they're going to be damn concerned at that point. If it's you?
No, it seems Dean's pregnant. I don't know how that happened. His insurance rates will go way up. Way up.
Ask him if he wants to experiment.
Totally. So this future that I've heard...
Also, everything's going to be owned by one giant company. Things are going.
Right? Yeah. Right? Yeah, apart from the monopoly of it, the persuasiveness of the Internet of Things, that you're... as handy as it is that my thermostat can be controlled from my iPhone, that I can find out if my vacuum robot is stuck under the couch, all of that from over here, even though my house is in Michigan. Oh my God, how great is that? It's also, holy shit, now they know I'm pregnant. So that is sort of a future technology I'm super worried about, which is coming really fast.
And the strange thing is that when you get new technology, you see, oh, I see the immediate application on the invention, and then a couple years down the road, you go, oh, and then there's all this other stuff. So the scary part for me is what are the consequences?
Right.
What changes that? Like you say, the insurance company examining your crap. Well, for some reason that makes sense.
Right.
So it's probably already passé.
Right.
Way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's already in motion. Yeah. And then it's just like I told everybody in the 90s, oh my God, we're all going to be watching television on our phones. This will be the future. No, that's crazy. We still have TV. I was like an early adopter of web TV. I had this bulky, stupid thing in 1990. It was like, let's watch web TV. Oh my God, it was stupid. It wasn't fast enough. And I was like on the cutting edge thing with this company in Vancouver. And they gave me 25,000 shares of a thing that collapsed and 2 years later, whatever. But it was like, oh my God, this is coming. Now we're all watching. Who was in the line? You said somebody was in a line somewhere, and 95% of everybody was just watching some TV show on their phone, as opposed to talking to everybody. Right?
Seattle, yes.
It was Seattle. Yeah, at the airport.
I've always loved the ads, the security ads, where the two guys are creeping up to the house, and the guy comes on over the TV and says, "Say, what do you guys think you're doing?" Well, and they stop, and he says, "You know, I'm watching you," and they turn around and run away. And I'm thinking, they're just going to look at each other and say, "Hey, the guy's not here. We'll be in another 5 minutes."
Exactly. Hey, I'm watching you from Miami. Oh, well. Yeah, we're gonna rob your house. Yeah.
First thing we do is take that TV.
I know. Yeah, good luck finding me. Yeah, exactly. So that's it. Thanks so much.
All right. So first of all, Dean, how about some improv between the three of you?
This is it. This is my show. This is exactly how it goes.
I haven't noticed, but I've been pulling random sentences out of my head
Yeah, exactly.
this whole time.
Now we're throwing that in.
Unfortunately, it doesn't get better.
Well, that also is true.
Something tells me it's going to get better. In first-person shooter,
Yes.
Scully references that the video games, the VR5, is a stroke to the male's ego. So out of y'all's three, with filming first-person shooter, whose ego needs stroked the most?
Wow, that's a good one. Well, what was funny is that I remember the crew having the air guns that shot to the ground, and they had the little things that sparked, so it looked like bullets ricocheting.
Yeah.
But when we were on the ground, they all aimed at Tom directly. They were not trying to just like, let's get that first AD, pow, pow. And they were like hitting you in the leg and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
That's
was
that's
funny.
a classic case of actor experience of like, they're going like, oh yeah, don't worry, you're totally safe. And then you look around and the crew's putting helmets and eyeglasses and butt pads, and they're standing behind the camera. We're on the shoot, and they're like, are you sure this is safe? Yeah, you're fine.
You're fine. Blam, blam, blam. Yeah.
It's like going to the dentist and they do a major x-ray on you and they leave the room. And they tell you it's all fine, it's perfectly safe, and they leave.
Yeah, exactly. Leave you to it. So, whose ego? I guess I got shot the least. So my ego got struck the most. Everybody liked me and they hated Tom.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Absolutely. Hello again.
Hey.
I have yet another question.
Yes, this will be your third, but that's okay. We're not counting.
Number 4, you start paying.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides this episode, what is your favorite Monster of the Week episode?
Oh, the Monster of the Week episode. Well, if Enigma's here, it was Humbug. I loved Humbug so much. Yes.
Is it really a Monster of the Week?
Well, they're monster-y. I mean, it's a
Okay,
it's a one-off. Yeah. We call that a Monster of the Week.
Right.
Yeah, so Humbug.
The Fluke Man one.
What?
That's pretty creepy.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
And I like Tombs a lot.
Yeah.
But then I got to work that episode as an AD, and it was really interesting doing it. It was really creepy, but it was a good character.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing, guys? Thanks for everything. We love seeing you guys here.
Awesome.
Now, before you ask, it actually wasn't my hair in the episode.
I knew that. I wasn't going to ask.
I had all these little twists that they put in. It's been an
Mine too.
We were standing back there going, wow, Tom, you had a lot of hair.
Exactly. Look at how dashing that fella is.
You all look great. It was unbelievable. Must have been 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, we're going to say 25, but 40 is accurate also.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Like many of us here, I think The Lone Gunmen wasn't given a fair chance as its own series, and that is what it is. But with someone like Joe Harris here, who does the comics for the X-Files,
Yes.
have you guys ever considered continuing on your story through his work? Is that something you guys have ever talked about?
Yes.
Or if not, you could all probably be drinking at the bar in an hour and talk about that.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I have a graphic novel that I kickstarted, 6 years ago. It's been taking that long. But it's a Lone Gunmen graphic novel that should be out by Christmas. Yes. Let us cross our fingers. Go to deanhaglund.com to find that one. But also, a guy in Australia made Lone Gunmen Lego figures. So I've started doing stop motion animation. Just as fun. Yeah. No, totally. No. It is exactly that. And I'm doing just like a camera, and I have like a whole stage, and I'm drawing the backdrop, so I'm drawing like cityscapes and stuff. And I have also an action figure of Steven Spielberg, believe it or not. So somehow Spielberg and the Lone Gunmen, and I bought a tiny little Volkswagen van that's a little, you pull it back and it drives.
So we work for Industrial Light and Magic, basically.
Yeah, the Dean Haglund Industrial Light and Magic. It was like, it's just my phone and stop motion animation. And I'll be like, maybe, it seems I can get 5 minutes of animation down a month. So every month there'll be a 5-minute segment of a Lone Gunmen stop-motion animation that I was originally just voicing myself and I was doing your voices, but I realized it's a bit insulting because I was doing Byers. I was, hi, Byers. And I was like, I thought, oh, you know what, he's going to be pissed. He's going to be pissed.
Seems accurate.
And then Tom was like, So I thought maybe at the bar.
Tom sounds like the adults in the Charlie Brown.
Yes, teacher. So maybe I'll record your voices at the bar tonight. I have a couple lines, but yeah. So I'm gonna do a Patreon and have that as a monthly 5-minute hilarious Lone Gunmen continuation.
We'll take what we can get.
Yes. Without my voices, hi, I'm Byers. Like, that'll be terrible. So,
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi. Dean, I was wondering if you could comment on how your part in the final season came together, and if any of you know, were there any plans to get all 3 of you in the final season?
The final season.
Oh, it's going to go on forever. Look out.
No, it won't go on forever because it was a shock. Basically, episode 2, season 11. This, Glen Morgan. I'm in Australia, Sydney, and they had trouble finding me for season 10. It wasn't until we were in Hartford, Connecticut, that you said, "Hey, you know, everybody's looking for you to do season 10." I'm like, had they gone to deanhaglund.com where you can just email me directly? No, casting did not do that. I have to call them specifically long distance from Sydney to go, hello. Oh my God, we're looking for you. Really? I think I'm everywhere on the internet. Weekly, whatever. So, same thing happens. I get an email, now that they have my email, dean@deanhaglund.com. Anybody can get that one. They somehow figured it out magically. And I get an email going, hey, you want to be in this thing? Season 2, episode, I'm like, or season 11, episode 2, and I'm like, okay. You know I live in Sydney. Yeah, that's not a problem. And so they flew me to Vancouver. I got out in the hotel. My call time was 6 a.m. and I filmed everything in front of a black glass with the camera right here, that close. All my lines, everything, in 40 minutes. And Glenn's there, and one other guy's there, and a special guy. And then Glenn looks to the special effects guy and just goes, "Can you work with that?" "Yeah." "Okay, cut. That's a wrap on Dean." It was just like, and David and Jillian hadn't come to set yet. Everybody else's call was like 8 a.m. So I was in by 6, out by 6:40. And I was back in a hotel, went to sleep, and then I spent the weekend in Vancouver and flew home to Sydney. It was like the bizarrest thing. You're like, was I in a show? Did I just do a TV show? So bizarre. And it comes together like we're all laced through it. So, and then I emailed you guys going, oh, by the way, I just did a show. You went, God, what? What? I know. Yeah. So that's how that went. It was unbelievably easy and so fast.
Whenever they're using the Lone Gunmen, it's always at the very last minute.
Yes, exactly.
It's quite literally. Like we found out about the series, the spin-off series, when we read it in Variety or something.
Yeah.
The day after it had been announced.
Nobody told us.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, apparently we're doing a show? Yeah. And then I get paranoid going, oh my God, the reason they didn't tell us is they're recasting it. Oh my God, they're going to get Luke Perry and all those big stars. Oh my God.
Jason Priestley. I know.
Jason Priestley. Luke Perry, Jason Priestley, and Fran Drescher.
All right. We got 5 minutes, so if there's any more questions.
Oh, anyway, we got 5 minutes of questions? Oh, no.
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. I see. 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. As in shut your hole, is that what you're saying, Jay? Can you wrap it up? Is that... You're kind of saying that.
Take your time to hurry up.
Take your time to hurry up. Well, if there's no more questions, we'd like to thank everyone, of course, so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Follow us. And you guys still are not on Twitter, right? Yeah. So you can follow me at D Haglund on Twitter, and then I'll just call them and every now and then just put what they'll say.
I think I'm on Facebook.
And of course, Tom has a cabin up in the Rocky Mountains that has no internet access or phone, so he's there 6 months of the year. So he's in complete radio silence, where you cannot even, even if I wanted to talk to him, you're not approachable.
He's got 3 or 4 wolves that live there with him.
Yeah, there's wolves. So if you have to book it for a convention, you got 3 weeks basically to contact him for the entire year, or you never hear from him.
But Bruce is right. When we started shooting in L.A., they always brought us down on a Thursday and shot us Friday night, so all the other actors could go home. We'd be there at 3 o'clock Friday night, hanging somewhere or doing something stupid
thing, yeah.
And all the crew's going, "Can we go home now?"
Yes. And often it was one take too, right? It was just like, "Oh, was that in English?" "Yes, it was." "Okay, that's a wrap. Can I get one more?" "No, get out."
Anyway.
It's so funny. Oh my gosh. So great memories. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next year. The extras.